Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dominic Peterson, aka Doug's on 503, talking all things Oregon football. If you're not following, if you're not subscribed already, go and smash those buttons below to join the Doug Zone family where we're always talking Oregon football. Guys, yes, sir. We got breaking news today at the top of the morning. We're here. It's December 5th, Monday. Currently 8:38 p.m. right now at the time of this recording. We got the IG live, guys, so shout out everybody on the IG live. You're locked in at Doug Zone 503, guys. Instagram and Twitter got to be locked in on the social medias with me at all times. All right, guys, let's talk about it. Big breaking news. Oregon hires UTSA co-offensive coordinator Will Stein as its new offensive coordinator. Now, excuse me if I'm saying his name wrong. It might be Stein. I don't know, but for the sake of this podcast, I'm going to stick with Stein. Rolls off the tongue a little easier for me. If I've got to fix it, my apologies, coach. So, initial thoughts on the hire, right? Young coach at 32 years old, will fit right in with this staff. Okay, Dillingham was around the same age. So you get a nice young coach, up-and-coming coach. Oregon, again, with these little names, if they're not a big name, okay, a lot of fans were looking at Joe Brady, right? And it comes out Joe Brady wasn't even in the conversation. But if you stick with these little names, these up-and-coming coaches, not only do you get a gem that can really stick with your program if you find a gem like that, but you don't have to pay them as much beginning. Kind of like Dan Lanning. I mean, really great coach, right? But he's not being paid nearly as much as some of these top coaches in college football. So I think it's a very solid hire. You know, not a big name hire. Okay, I know a lot of Oregon fans were looking for that splash name. But, you know, he also coached at a small-time school, so not many fans might be familiar with Will Stein. But, you know, with these little hires, when we hire somebody from a little school, I always look at what they did versus what they had, right? Okay, so at UTSA, small school, University of Texas, San Antonio, for those who don't know. In 2022, they finished with the 74th best recruiting class. In 2021, 82nd, 2020, 94th, 2019, 97th in recruiting. In his first year as the Roadrunners offensive play caller, Stein helps UTSA go 11-2 and become Conference USA champs, along with the number 9 ranked overall offense. Guys, talking about what you have versus what you did with it. Wow. I mean, this guy, Stein, he's coming. He's coming, guys. So that was his very first year as the Roadrunners offensive play caller with 4, I mean, let's just call it what it is, really bad recruiting classes. Okay, you're a small school, and you go 11-2 Conference USA champs with the number 9 ranked overall offense. That is going to be insane. Okay, the Roadrunners had the number 7th pass efficiency with 162.67th, 8th and third down offense. Okay, they converted 49.7% of their third down. 9th in total offense, like I just said, with 486.1 yards per game. 12th in scoring, 38.7 points, and 12th in passing yards per game as well with 308.6 yards per game passing. 17th in red zone offense. Okay, 90% of the time they're punching it in when they hit that red zone. So, man, oh man, very, very impressive numbers from the Roadrunners offense. I mean, I think the Roadrunners were top 25 this year based on their offense alone. And like I said, guys, you compare what he had versus what he did with it and what he's going to have at Oregon with the recruiting classes that Oregon has stacked. It's going to be insane. UTSA is also second nationally with 240 plays of 10+ yards. 70 of those are going for 20 or more yards. That's tied for 27th nationally. Their quarterback, Frank Harris, is 3rd nationally in completion percentage at 71.1% completing his passes. Man, that's a high percentage. He's thrown for 3.8 thousand yards, 31 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. And he's also run for 588 yards and 9 scores. So really complete quarterback for UTSA there. You can see the numbers, what he's doing with their quarterbacks. He started as the quarterbacks coach there 3 years ago before becoming the primary play calling this year. You know, in his 3 seasons at UTSA, like I said, he came 3 years ago. They have just steadily improved. Okay, I'll tell you. they had about 2,400 receiving yards and 16 touchdowns in 2020. Okay. You compare that to 3,500 receiving yards and 31 touchdowns in 2021. This year, guys, 4,000 receiving yards for this offense and 33 scores. Man, you talk about an elite passing offense, okay? I know Dillingham was a great coach. I know I loved what Dillingham did here at Oregon. He really rejuvenated this offense, opened it up, heavy use of the tight ends as well. You know, with Mario Cristobal, it really felt like these tight ends were just there to block, and he really, really opened up this offense with Bo Nix. And there's potential that Bo Nix could come back. Okay, I don't see why you'd play in the bowl game if you're not if you're not going to come back, right? I mean, he could still declare for the NFL, but I think by now he would have done it if he was going to go. So we're looking at, another young coach that Lanning finds a gem. I don't want to say too much because, when you're at a small school and you play other small schools, you tend to dominate like that. But look, I told you guys the recruiting classes. I mean, their best recruiting class was 74th in the last 4 years. You compare to that with the players here at Oregon and the talent we got here. I think the offense is going to be just fine, okay? I think it's going to be just fine. Now let's talk about Will Stein here, okay? We talk about what he did with the Roadrunners. Now let's kind of get into his background. Who is Will Stein? Okay, 32 years old, like I said, young coach. Prior to being promoted to the co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach in January, Stein spent 2 years as the Roadrunners wide receiver coach and pass game coordinator. Before UTSA, before he went there, Stein was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Texas High School Power Lake Travis. He spent time there from 2018 to 2019, as well as a quality control coach at Texas from 2015 to 2017. So spent a couple years there at the University of Texas. And basically Stein started his coaching career at Louisville, where he was a former quarterback. He started as a graduate assistant for the Cardinals back all the way in 2013. As you know, he'll be replaced by Kenny Dillingham, who recently left the Ducks for Arizona State. Dillingham helped engineer this Oregon offense to be 5th overall in the nation. So we just talked about UTSA being 9th overall. But look, guys, you compare the recruiting classes, like I said, what he did versus what he had. Okay, Oregon, they're expected with the recruiting classes you stack up. I mean, they're expected to be top 10. Dillingham got them top 5. UTSA is top 10 in the nation with a recruiting class. Their best recruiting class is 74th. So, man, really, really good stuff there from Stein and Dillingham. Okay, he also has multiple connections to this Oregon staff. Okay, he's worked with, Oregon tight ends coach Drew Maringer. Okay, while at Texas in 2017. They coached under Tom Herman and offensive coordinator Tim Beck. Okay. At the end of Stein's career as a quarterback at Louisville, after his playing days were over, Oregon Chief of Staff Marshall Malkow was the on-campus recruiting coordinator there at Louisville. So a couple connections with Drew Maringer, the UO tight ends coach, and Chief of Staff Marshall Malkow here at Oregon. So, if you were wondering how this relationship probably started at the beginning, that's how right there. And Marshall Malkow has a lot to do with this Oregon staff. If you guys don't know him, he's the Oregon Chief of Staff here. Basically, he is Dan Lanning's right-hand man. When Dan Lanning has a big event, big recruiting event, big something going on, Marshall Malkow is the guy to get everything lined up. So like I said, big event happening, need an OC. Marshall Malkow is the guy to get that list going, okay? So I really like this hire based off what UTSA did this year, and it was his first year play calling. Now, it is kind of a roll of the dice, which, you've seen Dan Lanning off the field and on the field rolls the dice, right? On the field, 4th down, he's going for it. Off the field, he's making those hires that nobody's even heard of. I mean, we've seen it with Carlos Locklin last year. A lot of people had questions about Locklin, the running backs coach last year. And how did that turn out? How are the running backs doing? I don't think we're really questioning what Locklin can do. Recruiting Dante Dowdell, almost locked in a 5-star receiver that's at Alabama now. So I think these hires are good, okay? And based off what UTSA did, with their recruiting rankings and what he did with that, I'm very excited about this hire. I'm very excited about what the offense can do. I'm not worried about it. If Oregon comes out and has a horrible offense next year with Bo Nix coming back, I think we got some questions for this coach. But let's just take our time. I'd never like to judge a coach, especially after just 1 year. That's why I'm not saying let's fire Tosh Lupoy. I want to give him a chance to get his guys here that he wants and get his system really rolling. So I'm really excited about this hire, guys. Give me your opinion in the comments, guys, on Instagram Live. This will be dropping on YouTube, okay? YouTube, guys, subscribe below, like the video, share the video. Really appreciate you guys. Anybody who's on Instagram who hasn't liked the video or subscribed to me on YouTube, go click the link in the bio. Really appreciate you guys. At DuckZone503, lock in with me on Twitter or Instagram. Really appreciate everybody. As always, we got a new OC. Let's go. Transfer portal just opened up today, December 5th. A whole bunch of moves happening. Matter of fact, yeah, we just offered an Alabama corner. So that's a big time thing to watch there. All right, guys, really appreciate you guys. As always, go Ducks. I'll see you guys in the next podcast.